Does a hedge fund need a business owner's policy, which is commonly known as a BOP policy? In my opinion, yes, totally, they do. What if the firm is totally virtual? There's no office premises, no office furniture or contents, and everyone works from home on their own laptops. Again, I'd answer yes, and here's why. First, I agree that the most potent liability risk for hedge funds is rooted in their D&O and E&O insurance. Those policy forms are combined usually into one policy to protect the fund, its managers, members, and officers and directors from claims which may allege wrongdoing in the managing of the firm or the fund. But the entity and its managers still have potential general liability exposures. General liability, which is made part of the BOP policy, covers the insured from claims which may arise from bodily injury, property damage, or personal injury claims. Now you may be thinking, if I don't have a premises, how will a bodily injury or property damage claim even occur? That's a good question, and you're right. The risk of a typical slip and fall claim that happens inside an office to a visitor or other third party is very low. But what could happen, even in a virtual work environment, is when you're visiting with a client, an investor, or other third party, and you or one of your employees causes a claim to occur, triggering a general liability loss. The other need for general liability insurance is when you host a meeting or an event at an outside meeting or event space, and then you need to provide a certificate of insurance to the owner of that space, illustrating that you do have general liability insurance. But the typical business owner's policy or BOP policy covers more than just general liability insurance, and here's a few things that I see as important for hedge funds. The first is hired and non-owned auto liability insurance. When you use a personal or borrowed or rented vehicle for business purposes, even if it's just for running to the post office on business, there's a potential liability exposure to the firm that can be covered by your BOP policy, which is very critical. I did a video on that topic in greater detail, and you can see that here. The second thing is property insurance. The BOP policy also covers property owned, rented, or used by the business and can include computers, which are not going to be covered under your homeowner's policy since they're used for business. And this is an important point for anyone working from home. Don't assume that your homeowner's or renter's policy covers your computers, peripherals, or even your office furniture, because your personal policies likely exclude any property used for business purposes. The third area is crime insurance. And while a hedge fund needs a commercial crime policy to provide broad protection and high limits on several crime exposures, a BOP policy can help fill in some gaps, especially for startup hedge funds that may not have yet purchased a high-limit crime policy. Most BOP policies do provide protection for employee dishonesty, forgery and alteration, and theft of money and securities. Fourth, a BOP policy has very broad coverage and will offer a variety of things that I call fringe coverages to help fill in the gaps between other policies. But finally, one of the most compelling reasons for a startup hedge fund to purchase a BOP is that it's cheap. Most BOP policies with low property limits will run under $1,000, and for the coverage it provides, I think it's a smart purchase. Here's the bottom line. I realize that for startup funds, as well as even established funds, insurance can feel like an unnecessary expense, but a small gap in coverage made by an incorrect assumption can lead to a costly depletion of assets from your fund to pay for uncovered claims. In the case of a business owner's policy for a hedge fund that may cost only around $1,000, I don't think it's worth the risk. Want to learn more about business owner's insurance or other coverage forms for a hedge fund? Whether you're a startup or an established fund, give me a call. I'd love to chat and see how we can help protect you and your fund for all business insurance needs. Thanks.